It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Thank you for making us part of your day. Top 3 stories of the day, KSLSports.com, brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials, J. Brooks Jewelers. All right, Christian, where do you want to start today?
Number 1, the Jazz are back in action after several days off. Feels like they had a little bit of a winter break.
It does feel like a long time, and you know what? After this, they play Monday, and then they're off again until the 18th? Or, yeah, I think it's something like that. They've got a long stretch. They've only played 2 games over an 11-day stretch, and that is not on accident. The NBA wanted to put some extra time off for players earlier in the season before the All-Star break while they conduct the NBA Cup, and that's been going on. Now that moves to Vegas for the semifinals. But it'll be good for the Jazz. They could use a little bit of rest. I'll be curious how close George Niang is to getting back. If not that having time off is going to help him. He's been off, but you're not eating up a bunch of games.
Well, the Jazz might actually stand a chance tonight, Ben, because the best player in the league, Zach Edey, is going to be out for 4 weeks.
Well, this is the second time this season he's missed a lot of games for stress fractures, right? Which he's 7'3" and 330 pounds. Yeah, his body is probably not going to hold up. Now, he's been excellent this year. 13 points, 11 rebounds, shooting 60% from the floor. He's been productive, but they were really bad early in the season when he wasn't playing, and they don't have him again tonight. So we'll see what type of opportunity they have. The Jazz have not been good on the road. Jazz have 2 wins on the road this season?
Well, the Jazz haven't really been good, period. But yeah,
they've been particularly bad on the road. They've beaten the Brooklyn Nets, and they beat the Boston Celtics somewhat randomly because Boston was pretty good to start, or pretty bad, or pretty good now. They're 9 of their last 10.
Taylor Hendricks is doing G League. Other than that, they'll have what we've come to basically know is their full cast. So we'll see Svi HT in the starting lineup with Ace Bailey, Keontae George, Lowry, and your guy Nurk.
Doing some quick math, it looks like with Zach Edey out of the lineup, so when Zach Edey's not been playing for Memphis, if I'm doing my math right, I think they're 4-10.
Best player in the league, I told you.
And when he does play, they're 7-4. So I mean, honestly, a total reversal almost in their record when he's been on the floor. He's a big body. He's hard to deal with. And one of the things I do think I've watched for the Jazz this year is when Jusuf Nurkic is the best center on the floor, they have a real chance to win the games. And when he's not, they've struggled. And he's not on the floor, or Zach Edey's not on the floor. I think there's an argument that Nurkic is going to be the best player or the best center on the floor tonight.
Realistically, how often is that going to happen?
Yeah, it should be like 12 games a year. You're talking about playing against Neemias Queta from the Boston Celtics or playing against the Nick Claxtons of the world. Nick Claxton actually had a good game for the Nets. But, these guys who aren't the most established centers in the NBA. And the Jazz will have a chance to win some of those. And now tonight, we'll see what they can do against the Grizzlies.
Man, the Memphis Grizzlies are going nowhere. Nowhere. What
they
a
are
disaster.
Stuck in that slog of not good enough to compete for anything, and certainly right now not bad enough to tank. I mean, they're in the 9th spot in the West. They're 2 games under 500.
Did you see Ja come off the bench to yell at a player the other day? Because he's not in the lineup. He's out. He came off the bench to yell at a player. You're going nowhere with Ja, and now you can't trade Ja, so good times there. I think Jaren Jackson Jr. is borderline special.
He's a really good player.
He's a really good player.
Defensive Player of the Year.
But he's not good enough to take you anywhere by himself. And then they've just surrounded the rest of the team with a cavalcade of bozos and a stiff that is apparently important named Zach Edey.
Ja is listed as probable tonight.
Is
so
he?
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see if he's back in the lineup and able to play.
Well, if he's going to yell at other players, at least he'll be in uniform.
I don't know if Ja is a positive or a negative at this point for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Oh, I think it's the same as Trae Young.
Yeah, exactly right.
Ball dominant guards, man. I'm off them.
Capable of putting up big nights, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to make you better, which, in the right spot, I still think Ja can be very effective, but he doesn't want to be in Memphis. And yeah, they're slowly spiraling, which I think is the worst way to do it. I think you either want to be dramatically bad or good. And they were good for a minute. It seemed like they had one of the most exciting young cores in the NBA, and they have really, really mishandled or misplayed their hand.
No, you have to have somewhere to go. Like as a franchise building, you have to have somewhere to go.
Yeah.
Memphis doesn't have anywhere to go. They're never going to be better than they are right now as presently constituted.
Yeah.
Like that's where you don't want to be. You know, you like as bad as the Jazz are, they've got somewhere to go. They've got roster space, they've got cap room, they've got developing players, like there's somewhere to go.
And the flexibility to get there.
Right. Oklahoma City, even though they're the NBA champs, they actually have somewhere to go.
Yeah.
They actually have the ability to make their roster better and continue it out longer.
Right.
The problem with the Jazz with Rudy and Donovan is they had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Memphis is terrible and they have nowhere to go. So by pretending that you're trying to build, you're actually lying to yourself. Memphis should absolutely trade as many players as they possibly can right now.
They are in a spot, and I heard a lot of this kind of talk about Memphis before, and why they won't trade Ja Morant is because he means so much to the city and Memphis itself. I'm just like,
who cares?
That's such a that's such a bad trap to fall into. The organization always has to be bigger than the best player. It just has to. And Ja's not their best player anymore. I mean, that's not been the case probably for a couple of years with Jaren Jackson Jr.'s emergence. So, yeah, to feel that you can't do what's best for the franchise because the fan base likes a player is really a dangerous spot, especially when the player is as mercurial as a Ja Morant is.
Yeah, it's one thing to say that about Michael Jordan. It's another thing to say that about. I mean, could the Jazz not have traded Joe Ingles because he was popular?
Right. You had to get rid of Donovan and Rudy at some point, you know, because you did exactly what you're talking about. They got stuck. They didn't have a direction to move with those two anymore. Certainly not upwards.
All right, what's next?
BYU practicing for the Pop-Tarts Bowl, but Bear Bachmeier still recovering from his injury, not out there quite yet.
No, not today. He'll play in the game though, but he didn't practice today. All the medical people, himself, everybody, he's good. It's not anything anybody's worried about.
My guess is that none of the upperclassmen practiced, or at least not practiced hard.
Yeah.
The point of going to a bowl game now has become the extra spring ball because you get all those practices. But now that's even less important because who's to say if the players are even going to be on the team?
Yeah, that's the other aspect of this that we just have not talked about a whole lot. We've made fun of Notre Dame, and I think rightfully so. We've made fun of Notre Dame for not showing up to the bowl game. But when you look at a Kansas State and an Iowa State not going, and I'm not letting them off the hook either, but they're not going to a bowl game, their entire rosters are going to be in flux. They've got 2 new head coaches coming in. Now, that's a team that could probably, in the past, use these extra practices, get to know their new head coach. They've already hired him. But these kids are still trying to figure out, where am I going to play next year? So why am I going to potentially risk injury before hitting the free agent market? And again, that's stupid, but the rules are stupid.
I don't even think the new coaches are eligible to coach in the bowl.
Can they not coach yet?
I don't think so.
So-
I'd have to look into the rules there. I don't know if they can go to practice or whatever, but I don't think they can actually coach in the bowl game.
So regardless, these players don't want to play in these games anymore. And again, as we've talked about, in the past, it was your only way to get any material goods for your college career. You would get gear from going these out of the bowl suite, and that's just not the case anymore. They want the money, and I don't blame them. That's the rules that have been set up for them to play by. But, yeah, we're just going to see this less and less. And I credit BYU. I credit the guys who do play. You know, I'll be curious how Utah handles it. If it's Witt's last game, I suspect more players will play. If Witt's coming back next year, you may not see both quarterbacks. You know, and as silly as that sounds, because this was at one point a golden opportunity to only play 48 games in your career if you're lucky, 50 games if you're lucky, and for fans to be able to see the best product and travel to go see it. It's just not what it's being delivered anymore. But I'm glad Bears playing. I was glad last year that Colorado played all their NFL guys.
Well, heaven forbid if you're a underclassman on either of these two teams that is on the border, because I'm sure they're deciding who to cut right now. They're going, all right, who's making the cut
You're
list?
auditioning.
That's the point.
Yep.
What's next?
Number 3, yesterday, Bill Armstrong, Utah Mammoth general manager, released a statement. Logan Cooley, we have a timeline minimum of 8 weeks.
It's a long time. It's a big loss. You know, he is probably been arguably their best player this year. And maybe not even arguably. I know Clayton Keller's, again, productive, not as productive as he was last season. But, yeah, they need Cools, not just this season, but they need him to continue to develop and play in these games. A lot of, big reason why they were making the push for the playoffs is because they wanted he and Dylan Gunther to have this opportunity to improve and play. And now they don't get that shot. 2 months, keeps them out through, mid-February, so we're talking about into the Olympics now at this point. I mean, it's a long ways off, and I wonder if that's how they're going to target this to make sure he can come back post-Olympics. But that's an opportunity for other guys to step up, but you don't really have somebody capable of replacing Logan Cooley.
No, but one player means way less in hockey. I mean, losing your best player shouldn't totally submarine your season.
No. And, yeah, you should be able to move other guys around and bring them up, and if someone can play that spot. Now, again, because of the position he plays and where he is on the line, it is a little bit like losing a point guard. You know, it's kind of the guy who runs the system and sets everything up. And, again, Logan may have been Utah's best player so far this season, so losing him is a negative. But we have seen other important guys get hurt, and it's opportunities, like we said, for everyone else to step up and play well. And if they can, maybe when he comes back, they're better off for it.
Yeah, but it's interesting in hockey because he's only on the ice, max a third of the time?
Yeah, one period.
I mean, comparing it to a point guard, an NBA point guard is on the floor for 35.
Yeah. No, it's definitely different.
Out of the 48 minutes,
for sure.
And in theory, you have, 3 other capable point guards? In this case, we're talking
centers.
That are on the roster. So you would hope that losing one player would not be nearly as impactful as, say, other sports. Now, I'm certainly not trying to downplay how good Cooley is.
Yeah.
I think you're right about that, but I don't think it should adjust fans' expectations. I think it's onward and upward.
I agree. It's not like he was playing at the level of a Macklin Celebrini or, a Connor Bedard, these other young players that are truly the lifeblood of their rosters that have them exceeding expectations right now. He's a big part of it, but he's maybe not the guy by himself. He's not one of the points leaders right now in all of the NHL. So, yeah, step up. If you were a playoff team, you shouldn't be solely dependent on Logan Cooley. I think that's fair to say.
Jacob in. We'll have more coming up next. We've got Steve Bartle at the top of the 11 o'clock hour. Stay tuned. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.